I'm questioning all of the decisions that I've ever made right now. Questioning the damn donuts in Portland. I just had that stupid bear claw. It was just looking at me, really wishing that I didn't do that when I was pregnant.
This is Susan Yara.
And this is Sharzad Kiadeh.
Some call this the Sharzad and Susan Show.
Or the Susan and Sharzad Show.
We just call it
The SASS. Sharzad,
Yes, Susan?
what comes to mind when I say cool sculpting?
The internet being really mad at me. You guys may remember that I got CoolSculpting on an episode of the SASS a while back before I had Cyrus. And before I could really get the final results, I got pregnant again, so you couldn't even really tell the before and after. I'm gonna redeem myself with something totally different today, but actually kind of similar as well.
Kind of similar, but kind of not. Maybe
right?
even better. So you guys, we're back at Dr. Gabbay's office. He's the plastic surgeon on our show, Plastic. He's also the one that did my belly button ring piercing,
Yeah,
if you remember.
he did. Such a cool
So
episode.
we're back at his office, and you're getting SculpSure done with him.
Are you guys ready to see this? It's gonna be so cool, and I promise I will show you an awesome before and after. Ain't no babies coming up in here. You ready? Let's go. Okay, let's start with the basics. This is a non-invasive kind of alternative to
Right.
liposuction.
Exactly.
And it's often compared to CoolSculpting.
Right.
But it's totally different.
100%. CoolSculpting is a machine that it applies cold to the whole area, and that cold works on everything there. So it works on the skin, it works on the fat, it works on the nerves, unfortunately, and it doesn't discriminate. Okay? This is the one time in the world where you want discrimination. All right? So SculpSure is a laser that goes through your skin. It just sits right on your skin and goes through it, and it targets the fat cells right under your skin, like right at about an inch underneath the skin. Okay?
Wow.
So it specifically goes for that, and it causes the fat cells to die. The best part is that it avoids injury to any of the nerves, any of the skin, anything like that. So, but interestingly, it has a little bit of a skin tightening effect, and I think that's more the result.
What a terrible side effect.
Yeah, I know, right? Terrible. And that's kind of the result of that slow breakdown of the fat cells and the skin shrinking in a comfortable, natural way. So it's like the best possible thing, the fewest complications.
Okay.
So there are a lot of downsides to CoolSculpting. Okay, because CoolSculpting is not specific, as I was sort of talking about, it can injure nerves and it can cause chronic pain in an area. I've actually seen patients who had CoolSculpting on their arms, and it injured that funny bone nerve here, and they had numbness of their finger for over a year.
What?
You know?
Wait,
There's
this
none
isn't
of-
talked about much.
Yeah.
Another downside about CoolSculpting is that it works exactly where the applicator is. So what it does is like it sucks in your fat, it cools it all off, and all the stuff within the suction cup gets reduced, but right outside of that doesn't get anything. So there are a number of people who come to me who have this weird step off where like
Really?
underneath it's flatter and above it it's still poochy and fat, and it just looks really bad.
Yeah, and
So
cool
with-
sculpting actually, that's actually very reported.
Yeah,
right? That's
totally.
a very common
That's a known
thing
thing.
that happens.
That's a known thing. The good thing about SculpSure is that it's super targeted. It only gets the fat cells, so you don't have any of those issues of injuring nerves or other things. Also, the applicator that goes on your skin, again, it just lays on your skin, and it works more than in just that area. It actually diffuses out about 35% beyond the actual area of the applicator, which you'll see when we're in the treatment room.
Okay.
And so the benefit of that is, number one, you don't get that weird, crazy step-off thing, but also you actually get more bang for your buck because that effect diffuses out farther than just the treatment area. So you get a lot more for the treatment.
I think another major question is this going to hurt?
So that's a great question. It's something that is totally tolerable, and we actually gauge it to use. So what happens is there's a cycle of cool and warm, cool and warm. And the best way that I like to gauge it is when it gets warm, it builds up, builds up, builds up. It should take you to the point where you're starting to say, you know what, this sucks.
Okay.
But the second you get there, it'll cool off.
Okay.
So it should be tolerable. You
Okay.
should not be in misery or anything
be
like
like-
that. Exactly.
What can I expect? Because I
Okay.
think obviously that's like people want to know what they're spending their money on and what
Right.
they're doing. You know.
Right.
what they're
So
getting.
that's actually a really important question because, this is not a true substitution for, let's say, a comprehensive liposuction.
Right.
I can tell you, when I do liposuction, I know exactly what I'm taking out. I know I can maximize how much I remove. But with this, it is something that will get you a definite result. You will be slimmer, but it may take a little bit of time. So most patients need between 2 and 3 treatments, and often they will see a result immediately after the first treatment, but to get that maximal result, you got to do it a couple of times. And I feel that it is not ever going to compete with like
Right.
a legit liposuction or fat removal procedure, but it's a great alternative. And the reason why I offer it is because some of my patients want something more aggressive. They have the opportunity for the downtime and stuff like that. Some patients want something that will allow them to just walk out of my office, get back to their normal life, and they can put in that couple of months in order to just slowly get to where they want to be.
Right.
So it's options basically.
Will you walk us through start to finish exactly what we can expect for
Absolutely.
today? Okay.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we're going to go in the room, okay? While you're standing, I'm going to look at the areas that we're going to work on, and together we're going to say like, hey, this is where we're going to do. There's a special belt that I'm going to wrap around you that will have these little docks where we put the applicators,
Okay.
and that's going to be exactly the area that we target. I'm going to mark it out, a little white crayon. So then we'll lay you on the bed. I'm going to readjust to make sure that everything, that belt is in exactly the right position, okay? Then I put the applicators on. When I first put it on, they're actually going to be cool. And then I'll start the machine, and little by little it's going to start to warm up. Okay, so it'll go through these cycles of warm and cool, and gradually over the first 4 minutes, it's going to get warmer and warmer and warmer. After 4 minutes, it plateaus. Usually at around 6 minutes, I'm going to say, hey, how's it going? And if you're super comfortable like it's nothing, I'm going to raise up the energy a little bit. On the flip side, if you feel very uncomfortable, I'm going to bring it down a little bit. So we get to that point where we talked about that you're sort of getting the right effect. 25 minutes total, and that's it. As soon as the 25 minutes are over, I take everything off and you get out of here. That's all.
Sweet.
I like it.
Let's
All right.
do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's
Sounds
do it.
good. Okay, I'm about to take my clothes off now. Everybody get ready. Yeah! Okay.
All right.
Okay, so first off, I just have to say, I think you look great. She's had 2 kids,
I
you guys,
agree.
and
I mean,
recently
this is
guys.
actually amazing.
you've
Thanks.
seen
You guys are being
way
Oh
really
my God!
nice.
I like this is something I could see and say, what kids? I don't
Okay,
know
that's
about
nice.
that.
Thanks.
Yeah. Let's talk about where we're going to work, right? We've got the waist over here, and this is exactly as advertised. This is that classic trouble spot that doesn't want to go away. Now, what's also really important is this waist over here. There's a tight, narrow waist in there, and this stuff is hiding it.
Yeah.
That's what
I see your
always
muscles
say.
and everything.
Exactly.
I'm cute underneath this. I swear there is somebody cute under there.
We're showing that girl now. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna do 2 different treatments. I'm gonna do one on the front of the love handle on both sides,
Okay.
and then one on the back.
Back.
Okay, and what that will do is collectively is just shrink this down, make you much more curvy here. So what's going to happen is that it's going to actually accentuate your natural hourglass figure.
Sweet.
Where it's going to make your waist smaller, and it's going to actually make your overall proportions much more feminine, much more pretty. It's going to look beautiful.
I'm excited.
Ready?
Beautiful.
Ready? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Do it.
All
Let's do it.
right. Yay. Yay.
Woo, woo, woo.
How's it feeling?
It's a little intense.
It's intense?
Yeah, it hurts
I
a
see
bit.
your fingers.
Yeah.
This is where you can be and where you should be.
Okay.
But if you're in like this unending hell,
Yeah.
you tell me, okay?
It feels like I don't know what the, yeah, it feels hot for sure on the sides.
Yeah.
Way more than.
In the middle.
Is it more scary
So I
or is
can
it
also
painful?
reduce the sides relative to the middle, so I can change each one. And if
Wait,
you
it cooled now, which is really nice.
see, that's exactly it. And now it's starting to warm up again.
Wait, so tell us how it's feeling.
It's feeling like it's like a building heat
Okay.
that starts to get more and more uncomfortable. And then right at the point where you feel like, holy crap, I can't take this anymore, it cools.
That's exactly
But
what you said,
That's
right?
actually
Definitely gets to like a, oh
Yeah.
man, like a hot place. And you said the sides are the most uncomfortable, right?
They are. Yeah, the sides can really be the most challenging. So we're gonna take off this little applicator, and you can see it's just a tiny bit red. You didn't pass out like
no,
you did.
and that's,
With the
I
CoolSculpting.
remember like not looking forward to that when they took off the
Yeah.
CoolSculpting machine, because
It's
that was the part that was the
super
most
easy.
Yeah.
painful.
And
At
there's
this point with CoolSculpting, you were looking at me like, oh, shit.
exactly.
But this only got really kind of intense for a second
Yeah.
and then went away.
exactly.
And removing the what are those the sections, the
Applicators.
applicators, yeah, was not painful at all.
Beautiful. That's how it should be.
So-
So let me show you. Actually, you can even see now. Let me just take this thing off. This is, let's just slip it out from here. There you go. Like I said, just a tiny bit red. And if anything, cool here where we did it, a little warmer out here because it, you know, the heat fades up, and that's it.
Awesome.
All right, let's do the other side.
Cool.
What are your thoughts on SculpSure?
SculpSure. Let's see. First of all, Dr. Way's great. The treatment itself was a little painful, actually.
Yeah, you said that from the get-go. You said
Yeah,
a
it
little
was like,
painful.
oh, this kind of hurts. And I wasn't really like prepared for it, I think, because it was like this heat sensation. And it kind of goes in waves
Right.
of being like pretty painful and then calming down.
Well,
and
Dr.
then pretty
Gabbay said that,
painful.
right? He said
Yeah.
it's gonna get like to the point where you like can't stand anymore, and
Yeah.
just when you're about to like be like uncle and tap out,
Yeah,
it like
pineapple.
goes back down.
Yeah, it was painful for like a little while, but so then I went back in and it wasn't, I like had him lower it a little bit so that it wasn't as
Right.
painful, so it was a little bit easier to manage. What's cool about this is you can kind of target like lots of different parts of your stomach by putting the
Or wherever you put it,
or
right?
wherever. Yeah, I targeted different parts of my stomach, and we kind of targeted like a lot of different areas, so we didn't necessarily go in hard with like one exact area.
where you could see like a major result.
I think with this treatment, like it's definitely something you want to do a few times to really see a big and noticeable change. And I think you're really going to see a noticeable change if you do focus on like a specific area. I feel like my stomach looks better because of that, because of exercise, because of water, because of eating really healthy. I've kind of been on this like major health kick lately. So all those things have made me feel better. I don't think it's gonna replace the results of liposuction. I think that's where you would see the biggest results.
I mean, we were talking about that with Dr.
Yeah.
Gabbay, and he was like, he by far would rather do liposuction
Right.
if you're the right candidate for liposuction.
Right.
But he understands also that some people aren't ready to go under the knife.
Don't want surgery, but SculpSure people swear by. We've met other plastic surgeons too that are like, oh, we have wait lists for it. It's like amazing. It was a little painful
But it's
for me to
painful
like
for-
keep doing.
You said it was painful, and I've
It
heard
was.
it's painful.
Yeah.
So I think as long as you know that in your head, right? There are a lot of treatments that I'll still go do, even though they're painful, because I know I'll get the right result.
Right.
But you gotta know it's painful.
You know, I wanted to show you guys the full experience, and I would love to know if anybody has tried it before. Because I have a girlfriend who swears up and down by it. She says it was like the best thing that helped her get her like post baby body back. And she's also a super fit person to begin with, and she said that was like the little extra thing she needed to get back to shape. So I would love to know if anybody's tried it,
Yeah.
what their
definitely.
experience
that
was.
or CoolSculpting or any of those
Yeah.
kinds of treatments, because You know, everybody kind of has a different experience with it too. And it's all dependent on like how your body reacts to it.
Totally, and how many times you go.
Yep.
I mean, I went twice, so this was my, experience after going 2 times. So if you were somebody that kept this up for a long time, what was your experience like? Or, you'd probably see a really great result if you did it for a really long time. SculpSure with Dr. Gabbay starts at $1,000, and there are package options.
Yep, so you can, work with him, and I guess the more you go, the better the price gets.
That's right. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the SASS. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you aren't already.
And watch this next video.
Boom, check it out.